The Royal Rumble, it's the place where stars are born. It is the Kickstarter to the road to WrestleMania. It's where we find out who is going to be fighting in the main event of WrestleMania, both not only on the men's side, but also on the women's side. The Royal Rumble has always been very special, whether it be the 1994 Royal Rumble, whether it be the 2006 Royal Rumble, whether it be the 2014 Royal Rumble, or hell, even the 2024 Royal Rumble. It doesn't matter. It has always been where WWE fans begin their real fandom in their love for professional wrestling, because this is truly where the excitement starts. And in today's video, we are actually going to be talking about the exact opposite of that. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the worst Royal Rumble in history. Yes, I'm talking about one where fans are just completely depleted from the experience of the Royal Rumble. So I ask, guys, if you're new here, my name is Billy TKO. You guys can find me on all social medias. They are linked down in the description below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and go look at the worst Royal Rumble in history. And you're probably asking yourself, like, dude, what the hell is the worst Royal Rumble? There has been a bad Royal Rumble. Every one that I've ever watched, I've always been excited for. Well, I can imagine so. I can imagine every Royal Rumble that you've watched, you've been excited leading up to the fact that, hey, it's the Royal Rumble, but this one was a tad bit different when we got there. And the Royal Rumble that I am talking about is the 2015 Royal Rumble. This match was hectic. So I'm going to give some context on why this match was hectic. If you guys remember the year prior, 2014, it was the Daniel Bryan movement. Yes, the Yes movement. We all remember it. It was still very hot in the year 2015. And the reason why that is because in 2014, Daniel Bryan did win the WWE and the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30. But the problem with that is that it felt pulled away from fans due to injury. Fans felt like, hey, we have to go and get another crack and see what a actual Daniel Bryan run would look like. And WWE just did not deliver here. You see, the reason why WWE didn't deliver with Daniel Bryan is because at the time, Roman Reigns had just left the Shield. We had the Authority storyline still lingering in the effects. So WWE really wanted to push Roman Reigns to the moon. They were trying their absolute best. They were doing everything in their power to get Roman Reigns over, whether that be having him become the big dog, having him dominate numerous people. It didn't matter. WWE really wanted to get you to understand, hey, this is going to be our guy for many years to come. And the problem with that is normally when that's done, it never works. Fans, oftentimes, they will linger off in a tangent and they will say, absolutely not. We are not going to get behind the guy that you want us to get behind, because we see that the guy right here is the actual guy that we need to get behind. And at that time, that guy was still Daniel Bryan. So leading up into the Royal Rumble, this felt like a way for WWE to, in some sense, course correct. They had the opportunity to do exactly what they did last year, but on a much higher scale. Hey, I see that you want us to get behind Roman Reigns, and if you give us what we want, then maybe potentially we will give you what you want. But right now, Roman Reigns is not our guy. Our guy at this very moment in time is most certainly and most definitely Daniel Bryan. And the biggest part of it all is at this moment, WWE had the opportunity to fix a lot of their issues, and they just didn't. So let's talk a little bit about the match. Daniel Bryan, to be exact. Daniel Bryan did enter this match, and he entered at number 10, which felt like an underdog story. Again, number 10 is a very early number when it comes to the Royal Rumble. Problem is he entered at number 10, and he lasted about 10 minutes. You see, ultimately, Daniel Bryan was eliminated by Bray Wyatt. God rest his soul. Bray Wyatt is amazing, but at the end of the day, this is where WWE would make their biggest mistake. And the reason why I say it was WWE's biggest mistake is because after Daniel Bryan was eliminated, I have never in my life heard a crowd boo the way that they booed after he was eliminated. Once Daniel Bryan was eliminated, the crowd reaction completely shifted. It felt like nobody there in the arena could do what Daniel Bryan did. They didn't have the momentum. They didn't have the star power to do it, even with the likes of Bray Wyatt or the likes of Roman Reigns. It did not matter because the only person that the WWE fans wanted in that very moment was no other than Daniel Bryan. And they completely messed it up. They completely fumbled and dropped the ball. So immediately the crowd shifted. It became silence. The chants started to get louder and louder and louder and louder. And I'm not talking about chants for, hey, the people that we're seeing in here. No, the chants for Daniel Bryan became louder. And you're probably saying to yourself, like, dude, it's the Royal Rumble. These things happen. Like, at the end of the day, this is how it's going to be. But that wasn't really the problem. It wasn't the fact that Daniel Bryan ever got eliminated in the first place. The biggest problem was that he never mattered. So the crowd hijacked the match. They were booing legitimately everyone. They were counting down louder than the actual action of the match. "We want Bryan" chants, they rang throughout the arena. They booed Roman Reigns despite him being the one that WWE even wanted in the first place. And the most funny part of it all is Mizdow got a louder reaction than somebody like Roman Reigns. You guys remember Damien Sandow and The Miz and their tag team? Yeah, their reaction was louder than Roman Reigns. So the biggest kicker of the 2014 Royal Rumble is that the audience genuinely became more interesting than the match itself. So ultimately, Roman Reigns would go on to win this match. He would see the likes of The Rock come out, and he would come out and celebrate with Roman Reigns, and that was in hopes for WWE to regain that capture of Roman Reigns. Hopefully, the fans would get behind him if, hey, we bring out The Rock. And truth is, Roman Reigns was truly great. He literally worked harder than everybody at this time, but at that time, it wasn't about how hard you were working. It was strictly about the timing and the perception. WWE fans genuinely felt forced to embody somebody like Roman Reigns. It didn't make sense for them to get behind him. It felt the same way that John Cena felt in the early 2000s. Vince McMahon forcing them down your throat, making you cheer for these people. But that wasn't the case this year. It was very different. The fans booed as loud as they possibly could. What was supposed to be a magical moment as Roman Reigns was going to go on and face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31 for the WWE Championship, WWE didn't get the visual that they wanted at all. And at this moment in time, this was a huge problem. It was literally what was going on. WWE always picked what they wanted over crowd control. They were going to push Roman Reigns regardless of the reaction that you gave him. They were afraid to pivot. So instead of going with somebody like Daniel Bryan who made the most sense, they stayed the course. And really at the end of it, Roman Reigns was the one who was always going to face the damage. Vince McMahon wasn't going to be out there getting the crowd reaction for him. No, Roman Reigns was always going to face that damage. And that literally happened. Roman Reigns became one of the most hated individuals on the WWE roster, even though he was being pushed as a white meat babyface. So WWE ultimately, instead of going the Daniel Bryan route, literally destroyed the one thing that they were trying to build. And if you're wondering what this always meant for the Royal Rumble, this year in particular, 2015, offered a new trajectory for what the Royal Rumble would be. It would always be the fans versus the WWE. That's why in 2025, we seen somebody like Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble, because it was different. It was something that the fans really wanted. And leading into a new regime alongside Triple H, we knew that he was going to do the unthinkable thing. And he did just that. But WWE, this was the year where it shifted. This was the year where it pivoted. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, why was this so bad? Well, here you go. It had no real good moments. It had no satisfying payoff whatsoever. And there was a super hostile crowd throughout it. And, you know, it's funny because oftentimes the worst Royal Rumbles, they're easily forgettable. You just kind of forget that they happened. But the 2015 one was genuinely unforgettable. And that's how bad it was. So, what is the legacy of the 2015 Royal Rumble? It is quite simple. WWE did have to readjust with Roman Reigns. If you look at Roman Reigns today, he is a much different character than he was in the year 2015. He is the tribal chief rather than the big dog. He stands on the island of relevancy rather than being stuck inside of Vince McMahon's loop. It changed how WWE had to go about their booking decisions because they ultimately knew that the fans had the opportunity to disrupt everything that they were trying to achieve. And it's cemented as a cautionary take, quite literally, because you see what happens when you fight your audience. It's just never going to work out in the end. The worst Royal Rumble isn't about botches or long stretches. Instead, it's about killing excitement, ignoring the crowd, and making fans feel unheard. So I now ask, what is your take on the worst Royal Rumble ever? The 2015 one for me definitely sits there, but I must ask you guys. So guys, my name is Billy TKO. I ask if you guys are new here, if you enjoyed this video, to be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel for more wrestling videos. You guys can find me on all social medias linked down below in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.